Tuned into the podcast, killing everybody, taking dog tags. Dog, this is awesome. It's Optimus Prime and your quadrant is talking to you. Got that? I was in a mind when I crafted this. The Dungeon Master's wrath with a dash of sick. I dash like Sonic Mad, not a pacifist, but pacifist. The tracks when I'm rapping, kids. We the last of us. The master race, take him with a master hand. It's cancerous. I hit him with the master sword, and sure I make a nice sword, but I wonder how 4 guys make a Triforce.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and I am your host for this lovely evening. As you can see, I'm joined by the same group of guys that I am every week. Thankfully, everybody is happy and healthy, so Dominic is with us.
How are you tonight, Adam?
Happy and healthy.
I think you're just happy. I don't know about that side of things.
This
right
is
now.
Healthy. This pen hookah thing.
You mean chain smoking a pen is healthy?
Are you using that to cut weight again? You getting back to your fighting?
I'm not getting back to fighting. I brewed beer this weekend, so I'm going to sit around and kill billions of yeast cells while I...
You murderer!
See, brewing, we've decided brewing is a baby step towards serial killer.
Genocide. Yeah, it's genocide at a
Even
very,
worse, yeah.
very microorganism level.
Cheers here.
Hi.
And DeClaude.
Hello.
Hey. All right, guys. So it was brought to my attention this last week that we never talk about the YouTube channel, but we will mention during the live stream that you should see that I'm messing with my hair or that Cheer is playing with the rat and stuff. So if you guys are out there and you want to see what the podcast is like after the fact, you can go to youtube.com/TForce podcast, and you can see every single live video that we do. That is if you can't catch us Mondays and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. PDT or 8 p.m. EDT. So
and it's funny that someone brought this up because I didn't even know we had a YouTube channel. I forgot that existed.
Really?
It's been so long since
Nice.
we have mentioned it or even done anything with it. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, we do have that now that you mention it.
Apparently you got a lobotomy on your sabbatical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the YouTube channel, we're going to start using that more often, not just for these videos. Asterdition and Snagglewolf are going to start putting together, I believe they said every Wednesday at 7 p.m., right before the show goes live. They're going to spend about 45 minutes putting together a weekly how to get better at League of Legends. They're going to go over they're going to start out by going over the very basics, like what does the term EDC mean? What does the term top mean? What is last hitting? You know, all the very basic of League of Legends. So if you're, really low bronze or you feel like you don't understand those or you want a really good refresher, you guys can check those out. And those are going to be a weekly YouTube series. That's going to extend further. Eventually, we're going to be doing champions. So how do you play Ashe in the bottom lane? They're going to give you everything you need to know about playing Ashe, for example.
That's a good idea. Cover the basics. And then if they're saved on YouTube, you just pick the champion you want after they've covered them and say, hey, quick refresher, I want to play this champ again, right?
Right. And they're going to be doing, as well, they're going to be taking the free week rotation every week and putting up a quick 15-minute guide on how to play each of the free week champions. Like a quick, this is how you should build it,
That's
this is
cool.
how you should play it. So it's going to be really cool. We're going to trying to get the YouTube channel worked out a little bit better. So again, that's YouTube.
Snagglemania. He's got to be his
podcast.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but he's got to use his Snagglemania persona for those. That's my stipulation.
Okay.
Otherwise, we nix it.
Well, hopefully he's listening and he pays attention to that. So we're going to, tonight, as we move into this, we're going to talk about top lane Master Yi. We're going to talk about how to be a better player, such as using tournaments like the Victorious Gaming Tournament to get better at this game. And then if we have time after that, we're going to answer listener questions. So guys, stick around for that. We'll be talking about that in probably about 5 minutes. Before we get to that point, I'd like Chira to talk about the NatureBox.
So NatureBox. Basically, if you're too lazy to go out to the store and buy snacks, or you want snacks that are healthier than what you would typically probably buy, you should check us out at, what is the thing? tinyurl.com/TForce Nature and order some delicious, healthier snacks. I am a huge fan of the Sriracha cashews, and I'm kind of considering just getting those and whatever the apple pie cluster things are. Just those, because I don't know. I kind of want to spend like $50 on a box and sit there and lock myself in my apartment and just eat nothing but
Just shame eat the entire
You know
bag.
yeah. I might as well. I mean,
You know what I learned from them, from
It'll
NatureBox?
still be healthier than whatever junk you were putting in your mouth.
Oh, big time. I learned that NatureBox has a Twitter bot. They found me today. I mentioned them in a tweet, and they came back like, hey, thanks for the shout-out. Like, You're welcome.
Some social media guy
What
who...
You're being stalked by NatureBox. How wonderful.
They listen. So
It is delicious though. I would if you have the
you like
money
it,
and
tweet
you want
about
to
it.
try something, you should definitely go for it because it's very, very tasty.
Right. So we're going to move this conversation now into talking about Battle Arena, which is going to lead us to our larger discussion about how to get better by playing in tournaments. Because I played in the Victorious Gaming tournament this weekend. Guys, go check that out, victoriousgaming.com. They start the tournament every day at 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And what we have to get you guys ready for those Victorious Gaming tournaments, which we're going to talk about and how to use that to get better at this game, is we have Battle Arena, Bronze Boot Camp, and Oceanic Battle Arena. EU West is coming up here very shortly. So if you guys want to go join into the Battle Arena, that is live every Tuesday on the T-Force Podcast Twitch channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time with Aster Edition and Badger. They watch you play the game, and they give you feedback, constructive feedback on how to get better at the game while you're playing. So you can go back and you can look at the VODs. And after you've looked at the VODs, if you want a more in-depth explanation of what you should have done, you can actually email battlearena@trinityforcepodcast.com. Mention what Battle Arena you played in, and they'll take care of you. They'll answer those questions. So we're trying to give you guys more ways to get better at this game instead of just listening to the podcast. Now, Bronze Boot Camp, if you're afraid to join into Battle Arena, which because Battle Arena is bronze to gold, if you want to play with just bronzies and have the same level of criticism, you can go to, you have to join the in-game chat channel T-Force on NA. And every Saturday, starting at noon Eastern Daylight Time until 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, you'll be able to join in there and play in another Battle Arena that's only for bronzies. And, of course, there is the Oceanic Battle Arena. Badger and Haberdashing will be doing the Bronze Battle Arena. Haberdashing was a guy who we've been talking to quite a while, and he wants to get his feet wet. And I believe, he has fantastic fundamentals in the game and will be able to help you out quite a bit. So I appreciate him coming on. Oceanic Battle Arena, that starts at 7 p.m. AWST. So I'm straight, that's like Australian West. I have to go look at what that's up. But that's 7 p.m. On Thursdays, or 7 a.m. for those of you who are Eastern who want to know how that is. So 12 hours ahead. Badger and Carrot Colossus from the Ozaloa podcast will be doing that Battle Arena for you guys. So go check that out. We'll have the schedules up someplace you can find it easy. I need to figure that out.
Badger is a busy boy.
He is. This guy's working. He's doing work. Adam,
He's a
it's
crazy
Australian Western Standard Time.
There you go.
I was
You were very
like you
close.
guessed.
You were pretty
Perfect.
close.
Okay.
By the way, no matter what region you are for the Battle Arena, is it the same email?
Yeah, Battle Arena at trinityforcepodcast.com.
Okay. All right, so everybody use the same one for Battle Arena then.
Yeah, you just join every time you
Okay.
want any of these Battle Arenas, just join the in-game chat channel T-Force on your respective realm. And you'll be able to join the Battle Arenas that way. Please excuse the dog if she's barking in the background. Nothing I can do about that. Yeah, well, what can you do when I'm talking? You can't really gate out a dog who's talking behind me. But I wanted to talk about that and move that into how to become a better player using the tournaments. And hold on, I'm going to go scream at my fucking dog because...
All right, well,
You guys
just to
talk amongst yourselves.
just to
Hey, let's
cut
talk
in with
shit
this,
about Adam.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Like, that VG tournament brought the worst out. I mean, he started tweeting some nasty stuff. Man.
Did he?
I
I missed it. I was out of town over the weekend.
I haven't had the opportunity to compete in the VG tournament myself, but from everybody that I've talked to, like, they've loved it. I was in one of our fans' team speaks the other night, and two people joined the channel like, hey, Chira, you know how you just said to go out and start doing the VG tournaments, whatever? I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, so-and-so wanted to thank you because they got second place and I got first place. So, if
Nice.
you're
CRP.
thinking about going, but you don't really know if you're going to or not because you don't think you'll win, go for it, because that's two people that have come and told me that they got a ton of RP. And they had a really, really good experience. So you got nothing to lose. Just
I think that the whole point of this is you need to realize that playing in tournaments or playing in Battle Arena is going to make you a better player. Because a lot of you guys have asked us, how do I become better at League of Legends? I'm listening to your podcast all the time, doing this. But just jumping in and playing the game and having somebody teach you how to play the game better, and then being able to go back and look at the VODs, even with the Victorious Gaming Tournament, if you make it past a couple of rounds and start streaming it, that's going to help you out quite a bit. And so I played in the Victorious Gaming Tournament twice this weekend. Dom, do you?
No, go ahead. I have something, but I can wait. Like it's good for whenever.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
I have questions that I think are relevant here. So.
Okay, well, I was gonna say I played in the Victorious Gaming Tournament twice this weekend, and I learned quite a bit about how to win it. Actually, like I didn't win it; I went 1-1, and then I went 1-out. But after that 1-out, I realized that people try to play it like solo queue, and if you think you have the game knowledge to lead a team, or even if you don't, and no one's speaking up, you need to be that person that's making those shot calls. How many times have we talked about playing in ranked fives and said you need a dedicated shot caller and you need to follow those calls no matter what? Just making those calls and playing these tournaments and being that person who's louder than everybody else is going to make you a better player, because you're going to say all mid now, or Ziggs alt that, everyone go for Baron, whatever the call may be. And if it's wrong, you're going to go, that was wrong. And you're going to think about it after the fact, because if there's something on the line, you're going to sit there and go, well, you're in the shower later that night washing your hair, and you're going to go, I called Baron at that time and I probably shouldn't have.
And that's just it. There's something on the line in these games, and like when you win a game and under those conditions, it's just one of the best feelings you're going to have all day at the very least. I don't know what else is going on in your life, you know. You might have better feelings later on, but no, it's fucking awesome when you win these tournament games and everything. And the further you go, the deeper you get into it. Like the better it just ends up feeling every time you win, and then you want it more. You just get thirstier.
And you know what? I was 1-out, eliminated. I lost the first game, so I didn't continue for the rest of the night. But it didn't feel horrible. Everyone was nice. You know, it's not like solo queue where everybody's being a dick. It's like everybody in the VG tournament.
Just the opposite of that, so
right, yeah, you were the rager, I heard. But
I actually yelled at a guy.
Okay.
I actually yelled at a guy. I had to catch myself because
you actually yelled at someone.
Wow, what a surprise!
I roll my eyes, the long blink. Shut the fuck up.
Do as he says, not as he does.
No, I did it once. I caught myself, and then I stopped doing it in the tournament. But I was attacking golems as trying to get some CS back because I was a little bit down in lane by like maybe 5 CS, and he ran up and smited the golem, and I just said, why are you playing this like solo queue? Let's play together. And that's when I realized I said it, very condescendingly, like, I'm better than you. And I said, and then I let it go for a minute, and I came back and said, all right, guys, we need to start grouping here. And I started trying to talk more. But by that time, it was too late when I had realized what I had done wrong. But
I do have a question about kind of the format of this. How much time do you have, I guess, between matches? What
time.
Are you? So you don't know anything about the players ahead of time either? Like you have no opportunity to figure out who you're going to be playing next?
You have
Okay, so in theory you can go and sort of like scout out, just look at someone's match history. Okay. That's actually really valuable.
Like they put you in a TeamSpeak channel together so you can see who you are. You can start coordinating while the game's getting created and organized. So
no, I'm just saying I think that's really valuable, going and being able to like sort of look at the types of champions people gravitate to. So you might be able to figure out who the mid laner is and all that type of thing, but then B, like if you're not particularly worried about any of the flavor of the month type bans and you can actually target ban somebody else out or that type of thing, these are really good. Or even if you just know priority picks going into champion select, and if they have a big Lucian player and your marksman might have not played him otherwise, but Lucian's a good early pick, in pretty much every scenario. Grabbing grabbing Lucian there denies it to the other team where they have a good player and gets it for your team, and you're like, you come out ahead in that situation just by understanding the game theory of champion select.
Yeah, I saw that happen with actually my first game. One of the guys like, hey, I know this opponent, and he's really good top lane, Singed. Singed was the first ban. That was just a targeted ban right there.
We targeted ban everything. And unfortunately, the second game, the game I played last night when I went 1-out, it shot us in the foot because one guy was like, you should ban LeBlanc, but I checked everyone's match history and none of them had played LeBlanc, more than maybe 1 or 2 games, and they picked LeBlanc and dominated with her. So while that's, it is great and you should be doing that to look, because Wrecker last night, he won the tournament. He won Group A. So
has he done that twice now?
Right. He says he's won like 6 times.
5.
He's won 5? Really?
Yeah, that's what he said. Twice. No, he just said it in the chat.
That's how he's spending all of his, or that's how he's getting all the RP.
Right.
Yep.
That's why he can bet the mystery skins on this fantasy.
But I just really feel like, while this is kind of a shill for Victorious Gaming, kind of it is, I just want you guys to realize that after playing in it at a platinum level and playing with the diamonds and other plats and stuff, it still is teaching me something about this game and how to interact with other players, and I can take that into a solo queue. While I'm not going to be able to talk to them, over voice chat, I can talk to them in the game and try to direct people more. Actually, the biggest thing I've noticed, and I think everybody needs to work on, is that people can win their lanes, but most people don't understand how to move that into late or mid game after they've taken a couple towers down. And we talk about it all the time, how to move around the map.
That's where it gets awkward.
I'll be moving, which I think is the right play, or more than likely is the right play at that time. And no one's following me because they all want to go take care of that guy who's split pushing bottom. And that still happens up in plat and diamond. So don't feel like, this is a silver or gold thing. And you just need to, and as a seasoned player, you need to recognize that grouping is 5 at any point in the game is, 9 times out of 10 more powerful than split pushing or stopping that split pusher, because you'll force that guy to go back. How many times have we seen the LCS this weekend where there was base races because of 5?
Many times.
So playing these games will make you recognize even more so that how to group and how to move. And I know a lot of you struggle with playing that way. Hell, I do as well.
I mean,
and the shot, that brings it back to the shot caller I was going to say, because listen to the shot caller. Even if you disagree with him, listen to him. Don't be like, no, I'm going to go stop him. And everyone else is on one page, you're on the other page, and you're split, and now you lose. As long as you're all doing something together, then chances are you'll be better off.
I mean, Adam, you and I have long advocated the merits of tournaments and everything, because we both did the Alienware stuff way back when, and that made me so much better at this game. Just understanding how everything worked and how you're supposed to be working as a team. Even ranked 5s doesn't do the same type of thing that these just competitive environments really can do for you as a player.
No, there has to be something on the line for it. Elo isn't enough.
Because Elo's not enough. And once you hit gold, then you've got the bulk of the end of season rewards, so who cares, right?
Right.
That's a lot of players' attitude.
So yeah, I think everyone should go try to play out. Guys, go check it out again, victoriousgaming.com. And like we said before, the whole Battle Arena and Bronze Boot Camp and all that, that's set up for you guys with the Trinity Force podcast to get you ready to actually go play for points. Because while we said there's nothing on the line, you might learn something about rotations or moving people around that you wouldn't have learned otherwise while just playing solo queue. So good chance to get better at the game there. So that's why I think you guys should go play in tournaments. I had another point that I wanted to bring up tonight, and I wanted to talk a little bit about top lane Master Yi. Not something that you would hear me normally talk about, but.
So why are you talking about top lane Master Yi, Adam?
Well, here's the funny thing. I started playing top lane Master Yi 3 weeks ago on my Smurf. And I picked it because I had no other champions left to play, and it was like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to try top lane Master Yi. And I beat an Aurelia. And I went, all right, well, maybe it's just because I'm, silver on my Smurf. Maybe it's because I have that, disparity of actually being platinum and stuff. So I brought into next game, Renekton. Shit on a Renekton. Just took a dump on his face. And he was probably a gold Renekton at that point, if I remember correctly. And I kind of went, all right, I'm going to keep trying this. And I kept trying and trying and trying. And my record just kept growing and growing. You lose a couple games. But top lane Master Yi, with the ratios on his Q and the added double attack that you're gaining from his passive, allows him to trade really well in top lane. And then I feel like I'm justified in this when Chira, I was talking to him about this, and he goes, oh, Yuzuki's been playing top lane Master Yi in Challenger, and he's been going like 30x and X.
And that's dominating. Yeah, I don't know. I've at least watching you play it just seems like it's one of those things where if the lane's not exactly going your way and you go in roam and you get 1 kill, that's enough to just get you ahead, to snowball you enough to start murder facing everybody. Plus, he has decent escapes.
How are you building him? I think that's an important question, because a lot of people are going to...
How do you start?
Yeah. Because top lane is typically, bruiser, fighter central and everything. People who are itemizing offense and defense, more or less of one. Depending. But Yi is historically all damage all the time, and if you get caught, you done fucked up.
Here's the thing with him. So, looking at what he has, his Alpha Strike can crit, first of all. So, it does a 60% crit, plus it has a 100% AD ratio. His E, which you level second. So, you're going Q, E, R, W. That's the way you level this guy. You're not leveling E first, as matter how much you want to think you would. You level Q first, because it has that giant ratio on it.
Wait, people actually do level E first?
It used to be the thing to do. You used to level E first just for the extra.
Like on New Yi or way back in the day Yi?
This is way back in the day Yi.
Even New Yi, some people.
I thought you were talking. Okay.
No, you're leveling Q. But how you're building him is it depends on your lane matchup to start, but you're rushing a Blade of the Ruin King no matter what. If you're playing against Renekton, probably a Doran's Shield and 1 potion, so you can get that little extra bit of life back. But if you're going to get someone like Aurelia, Trundle, anybody who can't trade back with you very well, because what you're doing is you're letting them push the lane a little bit onto you, if you can help it, or you're getting level 2 first. You're stacking up like Jack's, like one of the Jack's tricks is stack up his auto attack twice, QW
and then jump
them.
on him and dump with W, so you get a huge burst.
Right. You're doing the same thing with Master Yi. You're stocking up his passive a couple times, queuing in, and then auto attacking him twice with the double slash, and then you get a 3rd auto attack off, and you've chunked half their life off with
and
1
you
Q.
reduce cooldown a Q while doing that.
Correct, exactly. And so you're able to do that again, and then you just do that and you run out, unless they start running away and you chase them down and you attack them. But his trade potential is huge. His wave pushing, it takes a lot of finesse to understand how to use his Q properly without pushing a wave. You just need to try and let them push it back against you. Because Master Yi, like a lot of the other top lane champions, like we've talked about maybe Mordekaiser top, doesn't do too well if he pushes the lane into the enemy's turret, because they can just freeze it there. So you need to play so Q only hits a couple minions. Understanding the range on it, because it's going to hit the closest targets that it can. If you can draw them out toward like the river or the bush, you're only going to hit him in like 1 minion, and then you haven't pushed the wave and you've done 100% 80 damage on it. But really, you're building him. You're going Blade of the Ruin King, Berserker Greaves into either a Brutalizer if you have the extra, you have the early gold after the Blade of the Ruin King if you're snowballing, or you go into a Last Whisper, and then you're building straight defensive. Randuin's Omen, Banshee's Veil, Guardian Angel, whatever it may be. He only needs 2 items to go because of his ultimate.
I was about to say, between his ult, Blade of the Rune King, and like a Yomu's, his damage is pretty bonkers, even up against tanks, because he just shreds.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the ratio, that's a ratio on Alpha Strike.
I will say, the fact that they let Alpha Strike crit blows my mind. Like,
crit with the, I mean,
well,
it's crit in that, like, it's the crit modifier is what applies this chance to get bonus damage, but it's not dealing double damage.
Right.
You get 60%, it deals 60% of his AD as extra damage on top of the, 165 plus 100% of his AD. It's still a lot, but it's not like, oh my god, this is going to deal double damage already, or on top of the huge damage it's already doing.
It's not like Yasuo where you build crit just because of Alpha Strike, right?
Yes.
You're building armor pen.
So
and then
if
defense,
you want to really work on the Master Yi, you need to realize that his auto attacks reduce the Q's cooldown, as well as R resets a cooldown on a kill. There's like one thing, Chira, you mentioned, you was like, your Master Yi is really good. Oh my god, we were bottom lane, 'cause I tanked up some hits with W. You need to realize that you don't have to go hard all the time. You can get a kill and then start tanking with W while they're attacking you.
And that's the thing, you're kind of surprisingly tanky for somebody who's usually really squishy as soon as you pop W, because you get a lot of free defensive stats. It gives a little heal, and that can be enough to like keep you alive through an ignite, like that little heal boost to keep you alive if you get dove. Not saying it's going to work every time, because it's not. But if you're like baiting somebody into something, you are a little surprisingly tanky comparative to a lot of other champions.
Deceptively durable is how I like to describe that. I use that for Karma all the time.
Yeah, it's his maximum healing per second is 60 life, and that's pretty easy against an AD to heal up for every auto attack they're doing. He'll heal 60 and then take 90 damage, or not 90 damage. He'll take 40 damage or whatever. So you're healing for 20 a tick, roughly, but you're still healing enough that you can sit on there and tank an AD while the enemy pushes them away or kills them while you're ganking. I wanted to mention, going in the top lane, teleport is the go-to summoner spell in top lane, and Master Yi will still take teleport and flash. 100, almost.
That makes perfect sense, because he'll just show up and clean up a fight somewhere just because of.
And sometimes
you've been
that's
leveling
all you
Alpha
need
Strike.
to get rolling.
Yeah, and he's like one of the only champions that even if you're behind by 2 deaths and the top laner's up by 2, if you get that 1 kill anywhere on the map and you've hit that power spike of grabbing a Cutlass, Cutlass is huge on him because it provides a slow, and Master Yi needs a slow or red buff to stick on somebody if he doesn't have his ult running. That once you get that power spike of that Cutlass or Blade of the Ruin King,
would you go straight for the Blade, or would you go to Cutlass and then sit on that and work on your?
I'd go straight for the Blade.
So you wouldn't go for like Last Whisper or Brutalizer or something like that? Okay, just.
I want the extra healing, too, that blade provides.
Oh, okay. So I was like, what do you mean? AP ratio doesn't exist on
A little bit extra, a little bit of extra lifesteal and
Goes a long
the
way.
active.
Yeah.
And more attack speed equals more passive hits, and
So-
extra passive hits with the Blade of the Rune King equals a lot more damage.
So let's flip this bitch. Who would you play into Yi? If you know you're going into a top lane Yi matchup, which it's not really the thing yet, so it's
And it's not going to be. I
Aside
don't
from the
think it's-
permabans like Jax,
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to catch on. Like, I don't
Jax
think
will
people are going to
shit
start
on him.
playing a lot. I just think it's something to consider if you're playing normal games and want to take it into ranked. Because
Or
I
yeah,
think these are powerful.
okay, here's so then the other th- who wouldn't you play Yi into? I guess is the
I wouldn't play Yi. I don't know if I'd play Yi into Olaf. Like a good Olaf, I wouldn't play into because I feel
Olaf
like
would be able to shut you down early. Just he wouldn't be able to trade with him as easily because if you did Q to Olaf, he's gonna outtrade you even with his. He's one of the few champions that doesn't care about whether or not you can be slightly more durable because he's gonna true damage the shit out of you.
well, it says reduces all incoming damage. I don't know if how
True damage is true
gets
damage.
effective. Okay.
Yeah, true damage. It doesn't. You can't reduce true damage. Olaf, who hasn't played very well, I would play anybody that can shove really hard and get Master Yi into the turret, keep him under the turret like a Rumble. I'm trying to think.
well,
of
you said
some
you
of
should
the
on
times.
Renekton, but he's a good bully too. He can shove.
That one, I hate to say it this way, but it is also a skill
Player
matchup
skill.
against
Yeah.
Renekton. If you are really good at Renekton and understand how to use his Fury very well and heal back up after the Yi has come in, you're going to be able to help shut Yi down a little bit. You're not. I don't think you're ever going to really
Okay.
bully out the Yi completely because Yi is always is going to scale just as well as Renekton is with some items. As long as Yi doesn't die, they're going to be able to go pretty even in lane. But when it comes to the skill matchup, if you're playing into anybody, you want to wait for their skills down. So if an Olaf uses an E, or Jax uses his E, or Renekton uses his Q, that's when you want to Alpha Strike and go in because those are down. And you're not going to take damage. Yes, you can get stunned by Renekton, but you're still doing that giant burst of damage that he can't do back to you.
That's a good general rule for trading. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's whenever I say like that skill, that's the skill matchup is understanding when people have used their abilities and what is up. And if you really pay attention to Master Yi too, you can see when his Wuju style is active or his passive is back up on
Right.
it because the sword
Blue
glows.
sword for Wuju, green for double strike, I believe.
It has like it glows when he has his passive available on it because
Yeah.
after you use Wuju style, the passive is down for 5 seconds, I believe.
You
Or
think
no,
Malphite?
it's down the entire time. The entire time the cooldown is coming.
You think Malphite would be a good pick into somebody who's playing E-top?
I think if Malphite can play really safe and isn't afraid to lose CS early, I think that's a lot of these come down to is.
Well,
not
it's
being
one of
afraid
those
to lose
things. Like
CS.
if
The-
I could just see Yi might get slightly ahead early. Malphite gets like a Sunfire cape, can now deal with Yi's damage, and then if Yi teleports, Malphite just teleports, ults the shit out of whoever's there, and it's a wash for a teleport for the trade. But
Oh, try it out. What about Proxy Singed? You haven't run into Proxy at your Smurf level? Because Proxy Singed is irritating as hell. Because you'll be pushed under your turret trying to CS while he's sitting there doing his thing.
That's why
so,
Wuju style is nice if you get an item or two because you can clear a wave pretty much with it.
Yeah. Cool.
And
well,
you
I
didn't
never
have a-
thought of top Yi. So
Did you run into Shyvana? Did you have problems with her?
I kind of feel like. I think
Because
you would have to-
she's definitely just gonna push it.
And
And
you're playing against Shyvana, if you are Shyvana playing against Master Yi, you're going to have to push it early. I wouldn't push it hard. I'd push it into the turret at like level 3. I'd keep it closer to his turret early. He's gonna trade. That one is hard to say. I think that goes on where you land with your Alpha Strike after you use it and when you use it. That's kind of one of those skilled style matchups where you have to know when to use your Alpha Strike.
So that one's
properly.
almost more you're just trying to harass with Alpha Strike, but not land by her.
Correct.
Okay. And I only
oh,
bring that up because earlier you said you want to try to land by them, so then you Alpha Strike and then slap them with 3 auto attacks, basically.
You can still do it
and
into
they get out.
Shyvana, but I think she'll be able to.
She's gonna hit
couple
back.
After a couple levels, she's gonna hit back, and she's gonna hurt. Just like Renekton. So you just have to wait till that. The big thing is waiting for Shyvana's Flame Breath. Is that her E to be down?
yeah, that's her E.
Because that's gonna do the chunk of the damage. Because most people will E, Q, and you've taken 6% of your life in damage. because I believe Flame Breath is 2% for each tick, if I remember correctly, 2 or 4%. So
I get you.
yeah, not a big deal. He definitely can be outplayed by any of those champions that I said, even though you might shit on him. It's 2% per rank. Yeah. So
No, it's just 2%.
I thought it went up in rank.
Nope, that one stays flat.
Oh, okay. Today I learned. I guess the damage goes up.
Damage goes up 2%.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about Master Yi. I'm not trying to like tout him as the end-all be-all top laner because he's absolutely not. I do think
Not like
Jax
we were
or,
off a couple months ago.
yeah.
Well,
right.
yeah, you're just sharing that you've noticed it's working. Try it out. Solo queue.
Yeah, try it out. Write in. Let me know what you think. If you played against one, let me know how you win against him. We'll see how it works out from that point. So
He might deal with someone like Lulu better than we think.
Right.
Who's, I mean, getting popular top as an LCS pick. I don't know about
In
solo
Europe,
queue.
maybe.
yeah, he's really only a Europe. She's only really a Europe pick at this point because Rise is completely fallen to favor, and he would take a dump on Rise. I would think. I think at that point, there's some matchups where I would run Ignite, and I think Rise would be one of those where I would because you can shut him down at level 2.
You think Yi would take a dump on Rise?
Yeah, because you can push him out at level 2 and 3.
Oh, that okay. Yeah, we're looking at it from different angles. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, and after let's pretend you got that level 3 kill, or you've got enough CS, and then you can clear the wave, and Rise can't clear back unless you have his ultimate up, so you can just continually push it into the tower. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's it. I think that's enough for Master Yi talk. That's like sounds like a game show or something, or a talk show.
It's
Master Yi talk.
our champion gimmick of the month.
Yeah.
Master Yi, let's go.
The Trinity Force podcast gimmick.
It's been Sejuani. It's been Yi.
Right, and I've been picking them all. You guys aren't picking anything. What's going on here?
My buddy's in league right now, and
Tyr was the one touting Olaf. Let's be real.
I
he
still
said
play
he's
Olaf,
going to
baby. Come
try
on.
top E right
No,
now.
I'm just saying you were.
Oh,
You
if
were.
you're gonna try top E, 21-9, 21-9-0, I would do flat AD across the board, and then with his marks and his quints, you can try some attack speed. I do run that occasionally if I feel like I need a little bit extra.
One crit rune.
And what do you start? Doran's.
Depends on the
Wait.
matchup. If you think you can harass them early and keep them at bay, Doran's Blade. If you think that you're going to be taking a lot of harass back, as in you're going to play against a Shyvana or anybody who auto attacks like a Renekton, run a Doran Shield. So leveling Q first, QEW. You could actually go QEQ then W if you feel you don't need the sustained. But yeah, that's it. So let's move into listener questions, I suppose. Are we all ready?
All set.
Yes, sir.
Good
do it.
talk. It was good talk.
Toodles.
Toodles writes, wouldn't it be easy to allow pre-May 5s to pick any champion that one of their members has, even if they don't own it? You could even force that player to trade the champion if he or she doesn't own it. It could be a system where you click on your teammate and get to choose him or her. Has Riot tried anything like this before?
Fun fact, I actually thought this is how picks and bans worked in draft mode when I first started playing this game.
Oh, really? All draft
Yeah,
mode?
somebody misexplained it to me, so I thought it's like, oh, so if I have the champion, or if you have the champion and I want to play it, I can just pick it and play it and I'm good. Why would, most people don't need to buy these champions, and what the hell are they thinking? And then that was not the case.
Well, Toodles, the problem with this comes down to Riot wants money.
Yeah.
It is a
mean,
business.
It's nice. It would be a great in theory. I'd even almost just prefer it if they would let you swap around your draft order in a better way.
Yeah.
Like, because you join a lobby and then the captain's at top and then everybody else just has to fall in line. However their algorithm works for it. But
Yeah, and
it'd
you
be
could do
nice
multiple
if
trades.
you could. Yeah.
You could shuffle around until everybody gets what they want, as long as the pieces fall into place properly. I've done that where there've been like 3 or 4 swaps
Right.
before someone finally gets that champion. So
Yeah, but I just mean like when you're in a lobby, I wish you could
Like a normal custom lobby.
Yeah, just so where you could change the order that everybody lines up, so that if nothing else, the people with all the champions can select them for the rest of their team, and then you're not hamstrung in that regard or playing the swap game like you were just talking.
right.
Yeah,
Because there are times where like the only reason you don't get a high priority pick is because that player doesn't own the champion.
Yeah.
I can see if it locked in, if you were like, okay, I'm locking in swap now. Like you have the option to swap right now. You swap with a player and you're locked in. You have to swap with that player. And then you have their champ pool to select. And that's it.
Oh.
And they have yours. And then you're stuck with that. So
the Riot's never going to change it because, like I said before, it all comes down to money. Riot wants everybody to own all the champions and spend all the money in the game, or play enough time into this game that they can own all the champions. So it's a business decision at this point. And
it's true. It's a good motivator because my ranked 5 teams, my buddies, they've purchased champions only so we could swap. For this whole reason.
I've done that. I've purchased champions for people just so it's like, we need to have these available, you asshole.
Yep. Everybody bought Pantheon.
You bought Bane for me. You bought Sivir for me.
But that's because you were playing Marksman. It's like, you need to own these champions if you're going to do this. Yes, I got angry. I rage bought.
Nice.
I was
rage bought 80 carries for me.
When at yesterday's Victoria's game, or no, the day before Victoria's gaming tournament, one of the guys had said, I have like 6,000 RP or whatever. I could buy a champion if we really want it on a whim. And I said, no, just put me in the first slot. Why are you even spending it? I have, 100,000 IP to sit here on, and I have all the champions. So don't be silly.
You're not guaranteed to get that every time, though. But the VG tournament, you are. So
correct. All right.
But Sean, I think you should buy Dom a Katarina skin to pay it back.
I think
you know how addictive
everything today on Twitter.
Wait, what was that?
Probably.
He didn't even listen. He just smiled and laughed. All right. Our friend Volcano Techie writes in. I have a friend I play with once in a while who insists on playing his 80 carries with exhaust and tells his support to take heal. Is this or is this not a good idea? Why? Is there a good time you should run exhaust on your 80 carry?
Back in the day, the 80 carry ran exhaust.
Yep, I was about to say, back in like season 1, that was not
exhaust
common
clairvoyant
at all.
spot lane.
The reason not now is because the range on exhaust is usually not worth using it unless you get Dovon. So your support can get in there and use it.
Well, you have to put yourself in harm's way, and if you get Dovon, odds are good they're going to get all the the damage on you before you can get exhaust onto them.
And here's another piece of it. If you're the 80 carry and you're getting focused, having heal gives you a panic button. Whereas if they're not on your support or your support's off doing something else, they can slow and provide more utility for somebody else. Or maybe because they're not getting Dovon, they can, slow or reduce the damage of somebody else because they have slightly like a clearer head going into thinking about it, since again, you're panicking because there's a lot of shit going your way. I don't know. I just think heal's better on 80 carry right now.
Two points here. One, take it on your support that is exhaust, because your support in most fights and bottom lane in the 2v2 scenario is going to be ahead of your 80 carried in the mix of things, because you're not going to get targeted unless you were the first one to get hit. So that way you are closer to the 80 carry who has more range.
And there's a lot of melee supports.
Yeah. So even if you're a range support, you're going to be walking ahead of your 80 carry more than likely to get in position to hit something. You're not
They'll have to get through you.
Correct.
To get to your 80 carry, so you can exhaust them on their way.
And then in team fights, 80 carry should be in the back of the line no matter what, and your support should be next to you. And like Shira said, it gives you that oh shit button of hitting that heal that allows you to, run away from whatever it may be, or, keep yourself alive. And that support is now in charge of killing the assassin. And at this point in the game, in Season 4, there's not that many assassin characters left. So that support, if they don't need to peel, they can be in the team fight if they're like Leona or somebody, and they can exhaust them. Now, a lot of supports recently have been taking Ignite because mid laners have become such supportish mid laners and have been taking exhaust over heal. So we might, if you see that, you might have to talk to your mid laner about taking exhaust instead.
It's not a bad thing to have multiple exhausts.
What's the laugh for?
Because last week when I was playing mid lane, I was like, oh shit, guys, I forgot to change to Ignite. I took exhaust. My bad.
There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're against an assassin. Let's say you're fighting a Zed, you want exhaust. You wait till he hits you, and then you hit it. Well, there you go.
That's okay.
No, it was fine. It was just really funny that he brought that up, and I was just like, oh hey, look, I'm bad at mid. I took exhaust.
You're not bad. Exhaust is awesome.
You
did the right thing, Dom.
As for going for the oh shit button too with heal on an 80 carry, here's the other thing. You're probably paying much more attention if you're the 80 carry to your health than your support is, because they might be trying to...
No, the support's paying more attention to the 80 carry's health than his or own health.
You can say that.
The support should be.
And that's fine that they're paying more attention than his or her own health, but if you're the AD carry, you're probably paying attention to your own health.
The AD carry...
More than the support is, yeah.
Yeah, more than the support is because it's
yourself.
you.
The support can't read the AD carry's mind. The support will misuse heal, looking out for the best interests of the AD carry. The support will misuse heal, and then that will be blown for a later engagement because the support just can't read the AD carry's mind and didn't know, like, he or she was going to flash. Or he or she was just trying to do a little bit of harass, took too much damage, but knew, wasn't going to die there in the exchange. We don't know. We can't read your mind, and so that, if nothing else, that's the reason the AD carry should have heal, because 2 escape buttons is better than 1.
There you go. I think that's why. And it's not a bad thing to take exhaust in the AD carry. We're not saying you shouldn't do it. We're just giving you reasons why we think running heal is generally better. Because if this meta ever goes back to being the dive-heavy assassins mid, you'll probably see AD carries picking up exhaust again at some point to stop that Zed who ults you, to stop all that, subsequent damage.
They changed heal so many times that I forget, and they've had so many changes they've talked about that I can never remember.
Heal you and the person closest to your cursor.
It no longer removes the grievous wounds part, though.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Could we start seeing more exhaust ignite bottom lanes instead of exhaust heal?
No, because the move speed is the move speed is too valuable for you and a member.
I agree.
We've talked about this quite a few times.
We have?
Yeah, about the fact that heals bonus move speed.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Deal breaker.
That was before the grievous wounds change. I don't know. If we talked about it, I forgot. My apologies.
We the same thing. We can get in this conversation. I don't want to again. But they just need to change cleanse to do something, and they need to change bury to have something else on it to make it better. Yep. So that's
there we go.
The overall consensus of that. Right. All right, we'll move on to the next question there. Tamakin right in. My ranked 5s team is starting to get off the ground, though we are in ranked bronze 5 for now. Do you have any tips on how to conduct team practices to make it more beneficial to us?
No.
Well, if you're gonna, it doesn't matter. No, not at all. Next.
All right.
But I think everyone should try to find their roles. Obviously, if you say you're getting off the ground, I assume everyone in your team has their role. Pick a shot caller. Find out who the best shot caller is. Pick them, and
if you are
everybody follow his orders.
If you are really serious about ranked 5s, pick a shot caller, like DeClaude said. Fantastic piece of information there, or advice rather. But go into your ranked 5s night, whatever it may be, with a idea. We want to work on this. We want to have this shot caller call this, and we're going to follow him no matter what. We're going to make sure we spend time on dragons. We're going to make sure we ward more. Whatever that 1 or 2 pieces of information are, follow it every single match. Even if it's we want to do the pick and ban phase perfectly. You are learning something as a team. And
don't take defeat too hard. Like, instead of getting really bent out of shape because you lost a game and now your elo's dropping and this, that, and the other thing, worry instead. Like, look at what happened in your games and think, okay, we did this well, but here's where everything fell apart for us. Whether it was a poorly timed dragon fight, or instead of focusing objectives when you needed to, you tried to drag out the laning phase, or you just didn't understand when your opponent's power spikes were, so you were picking fights you had no business being in. Like, these are all really good things to know that you can learn from and turn into like wins in the future.
Right, and to start out, just try to pick champions that you're comfortable with and that you can win the lane with. Just try to win your lanes for now. Try to win the laning phase, because it'll make it easier come later game. If you're all picking late game champions, you'll probably never get there, because you're fighting a coordinated team who's going to rotate on you and probably take you guys down if you're having a poor laning phase. If everyone's picking a risky make it to late game champion, you're probably going to fail. Maybe keep one of those top if you can, but then win your laning phase.
And alongside that, in Champions Select in particular, look at the needs of the team. If you have a high damage team, it might be time for people to start picking crowd control champions, just so you can lock people down to deal that damage. Instead of more champions that are just going to blow up because, hey, you deal 0 damage when you're dead.
I was about to say, Adam,
that.
when we used to do fives, we used to do exactly that with picking a team comp that we wanted to play for the night. So we do like an AoE Wombo comp, or we try to do a split push comp, or we do something with Shen, which failed every time. But
Just about every time, yeah.
Yeah.
We
But,
had success with
Shen
poke comps for
experiment.
a while.
That Shen.
Yeah, it seemed like every time we won, it was because I was on a hyper carry or I was on Renekton. Like every time
And,
I played anybody that was passive, we never did well.
And because I was on a Mumu.
Fucking a Mumu. Or your
So-
Elise.
Yeah,
Have all your
really.
teammates learn their strengths and then assign the roles based on that. And you know what? You might switch your roles. You might realize, hey, look, I don't feel too comfortable here. I know this is where you want me, but I think I'd be better if you threw me support. Speak up. Everybody communicate.
Everybody needs to play a role, in my opinion, and needs to keep that one role the entire time because you're going to learn more and
Well-
progress better as a team.
If you don't like the role, you're not going to have fun.
Well, I mean,
Let your team know. So find what
Then
everybody
replace
likes.
his ass and find somebody else. I mean,
There you go. And scheduling too. Just make sure everybody can play.
That was the hardest thing. Like I didn't.
That's the hardest thing for me. So
We came down to it. I mean, I had talked to you guys. It's been probably 60 episodes now that I had talked about playing on a ranked fives team, and eventually we just had to call it quits because I didn't have time to play anymore, and we lost our jungler, and that's gonna happen. But if you're really serious about playing ranked fives, you're always gonna find people that want to do it, and the T-Force chat's a great way to find them.
yeah, it is.
A bunch of people
On
have
NA
played
at least.
lately.
Right. All right, we'll move on to Mike and Cheese. By the way, guys, I am in the struggle bus tonight. Really bad. Like 15 minutes left. I have no more beer. I gotta use the bathroom.
Your dog was barking.
Dog is barking. I want
The
to smoke on
struggle
my
bus.
e-hose. I am driving the struggle bus right now.
E-hose. That's what that thing's called?
Yeah, it's called an e-hose. If you guys are watching it, youtube.com/T4th podcast to see my
It
e-hose.
looks like
Did you rank that up
Tiny-
first
It's a
before the
looks
Q
like a
hose?
tiny lightsaber, but like a broadsword
See,
lightsaber.
look right here. Here's a
Like if you
here's a
gave
real
it
hookah
to-
hose.
an action
that's the
figure.
R hose. There's your ultimate right there.
This isn't real hookah hose, and this is the e-hose. You see the similarities? Look at that. YouTube.com/T4th podcast.
They're both ribbed for your
It's your
pleasure.
sad portable wannabe hose.
I have e-hose in different area codes. All right.
I like that. That was I
So
like
they're
that
virtual hose.
I stole
I
it.
like
I stole
that
it in
one.
chat. All
one.
right.
Right.
Mike and
I-
cheese.
Oh, I was gonna take it.
Okay, go for
You
it.
had to. I thought you had to hop away.
I mean, yeah. Let me go hop away and you can take it. I'll be back.
Mike and Cheese writes,
Hop, hop.
find that it has become incredibly hard for ADCs to carry compared to top or mid, at least in lower elo. I'm often ahead in farm, win lane, up in kills, but still seems somewhat insignificant. I feel I am constantly dependent on at least one other lane getting ahead in order to secure a win. Do you have any advice on carrying as ADC if your other lanes are losing?
All right, so this
I
this
would like to say
question.
first, if all your other lanes are losing and you're the only lane that's winning, it's going to be rough no matter what role you're
Yeah,
in.
if you're, unless you're Jax,
Yeah. If you have at least one other lane winning with you, then yeah, your chances are pretty good.
I mean, or even just one other lane even, that totally swings things. But
Right.
Well, this has been
Continue
more
your point, I'm
so
sorry.
true for this season more than any other season in the history of this game, where AD carry feels lackluster for the most part, unless you're playing maybe Lucian or Twitch early in the game, up until you have your 5-6 items where you can just murder face anything you run into. I will say there is a reason why they're changing a lot of the items that
Yeah.
AD carry players buy.
I was just, I mean, we've been sitting on this question for a while. It's just unfortunate timing because they're doing the item rework, and that is going to so significantly
problem.
impact.
Yep.
The specific issue. And that's almost why I'm hesitant to really say anything here. I mean, so what do you do if you're behind? Well, you try to regroup and start focusing on objectives as a team, and instead of trying to, you got to
Farm
just
on your own.
get the money where you can instead of trying to keep playing the solo game, because that's not going to work for anybody. But that's just an overall game sense thing, and it's not specific to marksmen. And
Well,
I feel like the issue here at this point really is the itemization stuff. And I don't know that the item changes are going to make it so that marksmen carry better in the mid game, but I think they're going to transition better from early to mid and from mid to late, so you don't feel so useless.
During those
Particularly
times.
during that mid game when team fights are happening, but you're not hitting like a semi.
You're spending more time dodging than fighting.
Yeah.
like running around trying to avoid getting hit.
I mean, and that, like, to a degree, that's just it. Like, you almost have to just keep putting an emphasis on not dying yourself, because you are going to become the more important target for the opponent just by virtue of having been successful otherwise in the game. They're going to realize mid's not doing that much damage, so they don't need to worry about, mid's going to blow a crowd control spell, and then, hey, congratulations, nothing else to contribute. But that marksman at the back just chunking away at everything in front of it is the real threat, and they're going to quickly pick up on that. So you sort of have to be very mindful of what you're doing, because you're in the driver's seat at that point. If you get caught, your team is screwed, and that's a shitty position to be in.
Yeah.
But
Plus,
when your team is losing otherwise, and you've been doing well, that's the reality.
Hard. Yeah. Well, as a marksman, also, it's your job when you're sieging the enemy to hit the turret. So you're plinking at that turret while you're sieging it, because you're the only one that's ranged that can do any damage to it. And if you get too close, then you risk them piling on you underneath the turret.
That is huge for an AD carry
so
to realize that you are the one you need to be hitting the turret. You are the person who needs to be standing there in the middle of your group or off the side hitting the turret.
That's how you contribute.
And, like, that's just an overall good point to consider. Like, at that stage of the game, gold that is going to go to your entire team is so much more valuable than that even that wave of CS that you're looking at the other lane that you want to go and farm. Yeah, it's going to help you hit a little bit harder and everything, but if you're already the most fed player on your team, it doesn't matter if you get stronger, because the rest of your team is, like, dead weight, and you have to figure out how to unload that and get them to a point where they can contribute.
To add to that, as the game continues to go on, the gold differential doesn't matter as much as in the early game. 3,000 gold when it's to 10,000, when you're both at 10,000 gold, or excuse me, one's at 13,000, one's at 10,000. That's a larger difference than when you're both at 30,000 or 33,000 and 30,000. You know what I mean? So going and getting an extra 100 gold, not worth it.
At that stage, it's still meaningful, but if it's a 3,000 gold, and you're both, it's a 55 gold game and it's plus or minus 3,000, that doesn't fucking matter at all. The gold differential's probably just, like, on the support on your team at that point.
It's like when you're dating somebody, it means less when you're older. The year disparity between you than when you're younger.
I was wondering where you're going with that. Okay.
So, like, you have
I'm glad it
have
went
someone
the way it
58
did,
and 68. Okay, that's not too bad.
I was hoping you didn't
and
go
you have
the other
someone
way.
20 and 10. You're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Well, yeah.
Nope. So, same idea. Think of that every time.
Well, listen,
think pedophiles when you're thinking about
dating advice with the Claude.
Leave it to the Claude to bring up the pedophile.
And you won't be a pedophile for long later in the game.
Are you a pedophile?
You could be.
Are you a pedophile if you have Annie on your team and you're playing something like Braum?
I will say, give the Claude all the shit you want to. He's also
yeah.
the only dude here that's married. So,
well, you could be married,
but we're exactly the same age.
You chose not to be yet. Chira.
I know what you're talking about.
Putting him on the spot.
So, I love Kayla very much.
You're going to propose to Kayla on the podcast live.
You know what?
Right now?
Oh, yeah, go fuck yourself. This is what she's doing on the floor with the cat in the NatureBox. Look at that shit.
Nice.
NatureBox. It's also good for cat pets.
I can't believe she's still in the NatureBox.
The cat loves the NatureBox.
That's awesome.
It's her favorite thing.
I thought you would have thrown it away.
Nope, she loves it.
She wouldn't let him.
There's a cat.
Gotta keep it.
I love the mental image I have of the cat with his head way back like this, and it's like leaning out of the NatureBox.
Way better than Schrodinger's cat.
For
This one we
anybody who
know
wants
is
to
playing in the
look
box.
at my cat hanging upside down out of a NatureBox, check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, we're gonna call this the Plugcast.
Yep. YouTube.com/TForce Podcast.
Yeah, the audio listeners really are much tonight. So, Casey writes in, how do you approach that tricky stage of the game where your team is leading but there's nothing obvious to do? Lanes are pushed, drag is taken, jungle buffs are down, and the only Nexus turret or outer turret or only the Nexus turret / outer turrets are up. Is this when you should just shove a lane and try to get that last turret? Seems my silver elo people show up, wander around, and give up potential huge advantages.
Actually, Adam, you did. We ran into this situation in a game a long time ago, and you handled it better than anybody I've seen. Like, you just started screaming and vented everybody. All right, you all group here in bot. I am going to go swing top lane, and they are going to have to commit resources one way or the other, and that's how we're going to get our turrets. And that is exactly what it took.
That's you know, we preach about how much you can't split push, but at some point in the game, you might have to split push, or you might have to send 2 people in one lane. Like at that point, you just have to spread your lanes out, figure out where the power is and where they're throwing their power at, and adjust accordingly. Sometimes it's 3 people bot, 1 and 1, or it's 4 people bot and 1, or it's 4 people top, guy with teleport bottom pushing the lane out, forcing somebody to deal with you, teleporting into Baron. You know,
Sometimes
and if you're the split pusher, you don't even have to go with, like, you don't have to focus any effort on taking down that objective. You just need to draw somebody away for long enough that the rest of your team can capitalize on that, because it's going to be somebody important. Like, it's not going to be a support who goes to try and deal with the split pusher. That's not going to happen.
Right.
It's going to be a top laner or no matter what happens, your team should be able to come out ahead because somebody strong on the other team is going to go deal with the split pusher.
And you can also use that method of forcing the enemy team to go and deal with one person to set up an ambush and hit somebody from another angle, or even like pick somebody off on transit to go deal with them. Like there's a lot of room for just made up strategies on the go for situations like this. It's just actually getting everybody on the same page to apply said strategy.
It's very frustrating to be in that point of the game, and there is no set strategy to get out of it. You might have to learn how to do wave manipulation at that point, where you get that slow push going and you type to your team, listen, top lane is going to push in the next 30 seconds and it's going to make it to the tower. At that point, we need to be bottom lane and pushing. Everybody focus your power.
I mean, like, maybe we assumed, but it doesn't mention it. You know, Baron didn't come up here. If Baron's up, go take that, because that gives you a huge.
Assuming that all objectives were taken and it's clear.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we talked about it in that respect first, but that's just another thing. You know, otherwise just
that'll draw them out of their base.
Yeah, know the timer on Baron. If Baron's coming up in a minute, just like twiddle your thumbs for a little while, ward up the jungle, and then go get ready for Baron.
Just don't get caught.
Don't get caught. This is the point in the game where it really becomes a chess match, and whatever team sets up the long, you know, the 4 moves ahead where the other team's only 2 moves ahead, is that is the make or break. I made this joke the other day that playing League, at least in a solo queue setting, is like playing chess with 4 handicap people on your team that are each controlling 2 pieces on the board.
But they're all retarded.
Yeah, but they're just they have no idea what's going on, and whoever is better at being able to like set up and plan for that like long game is gonna come out ahead.
Don't shake your head, Dom. It was hilarious. He said everybody owns 2 chess pieces.
Here's what invalidates that.
I don't like your chosen terminology.
What if you have the queen? Doesn't matter what they have. You can win it without them.
Well, you know, that just means you're that super fed Twitch, Rise, Jax, whatever,
there you go.
and you can do whatever the hell you want.
That's what I was fishing for. Good job. All right, so, yeah, this is always the toughest situation, and I think we covered it. So, split push may be the option, but depends on what's going on. Superscript. Next.
Superscript. I was reading...
Strike 2.
One. All right, you know what, Volcano, you're on next week. Kurt is up. What?
I mean, like, just to interrupt, are we planning to go late tonight?
A little bit, sure. Why not?
Okay,
whatever.
That's fine. I just normally you're like cutting off right away, and
one more.
We'll do one more. Here we go.
Kurt writes, "What would an ability
the Trinity Force bonus question of the show?"
Nice. Says the laggy Chira Jaden.
Yeah,
Kurt
man.
writes, "What would an ability power magic damage based ranged auto attack carry need in their kit to work?"
Trinity Force.
It's already Kennen. That was the idea.
Oh, yeah.
Kennen does a lot of auto attack based things and everything. Orianna also has some qualities that do. I mean, basically, you need some sort of modifier going on to the auto attack to really make that, because the idea behind a marksman is a lot more just sustained constant damage, and all of their mage and ability power champions are
it's game design right now. If you were to make an auto attack AP based carry, they're going to go in a solo lane. They're not going to go into a duo lane, because they're going to scale up with gold, or they're going to scale up with levels and not gold, because they're ability power based. The rule of thumb is ability power based champions scale with scale. But now if you're looking at someone like Tristana though, who has all AP scaling, the only reason she's an AD carry is because the way her kit works, she has an auto attack modifier, and
2 of them really, if you really think about it.
Oh, well, I guess her E being an auto attack.
No, it's not
modifier.
even that. It's her passive is an auto attack modifier. If you really think of, because it increases her her range every time she gains a level.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
also
I guess
think-
3. I 3 with the E. You're right.
He put a slash. I don't know if he meant or. Like Corky, he does magic damage, but it's built off his physical, his AD that he has. But it's considered magic, so magic resist will help block it.
I think the idea behind this question is what would it take for Riot to design an ability, like a champion that itemizes for ability power, but is still
Is like an AD carry.
played like an AD carry.
Honestly, I think if they ended up taking
It's
like an AD, if they took like an AP champion, removed its ability to auto attack, and gave it an ability that was pretty spammable, that was like an auto attack that they could just spam cast while having other abilities,
Well,
that
why
might.
wouldn't you put him?
Right.
No, the way I would look at it though is instead of giving them something that's spam castable, you make it so their abilities scale off of their auto attacks. So, like, you could have like a 4 or 5 I mean, that's too much, but you could have a 2 passive champion with some kind of an auto attack modifier in their kit.
so like, for example, an auto attack decreases the cooldown of that ability.
An auto attack.
Of one ability, and then another one, like auto attacks, sort of amplify the effect of another ability, and you're supposed to just sort of weave spells in and out, but you need to have attack speed, and you need to
Then
be auto
attack
attacking to
speed would
function.
be Ginsu's.
Because then you'd still be Ginsu's or
Ginsu.
Nashor's.
You just
Get
have
get a gun blade, just a extra life steal,
Just to mix
whatever.
things up.
Yeah.
They kind of already have this, but like again, the whole point of the question, while everyone's bringing up, misfortune, Corky, that yada yada, like we're not. They'll all build AD item. He wants somebody that builds strictly AP, and I think you would have to have them be completely auto attack based, but have their base stats low enough where they couldn't sit in a solo lane, or have their range short enough at early levels that they couldn't bully out somebody without some kind of recourse. Because Kennen has a really long auto attack range, or had a longer auto attack range.
Jeez, when that was as long as it was, that champion was a nightmare to lane against.
Is it
even though-
down to 550 now?
Yeah,
or?
He's
yeah.
played AD, yeah.
It was 600 or 575 or
It
something.
was-
It was 575, I think.
It was
Well, look
really
at
annoying.
Orianna with Clockwork Windup,
Yeah.
or passive.
Yeah, the
It's-
passive
yeah.
is really nice.
It is. It's great for last hitting and trading, harassing. It's just,
I mean, in theory, she could do it, but the problem is if it's going to be hard to position with her. You know,
Right.
And
Because
she has
has
nothing
to-
else in her kit that gives her auto attack modifiers, or gives her damage that's instant damage. Like she's moving a ball around, so you're playing this micro game with her, which automatically makes her a better mage because that ball is an extension of
already
her.
it's already really difficult to position as a marksman and everything. To try and position the ball on top of positioning yourself to deal the sustained damage, that's like an insane level of micromanagement.
So you just again, I'm gonna keep falling back to it. I think it really comes down to auto attack modifiers and passives, and in anything that doesn't allow them to do burst damage, like crazy burst damage. Like Lucian's a really good example of this, but he scales off AD instead. He might be a good AP mid if everything's scaled off of AP rather than AD.
he's a caster carry, a caster AD.
Right. I could see him being like one of those champions that could turn around to be an AP champion if his abilities scaled off. All of his abilities scaled off AP.
People,
He could be played as an AD mid
yeah,
if people want.
I've seen him played as an AD mid.
I kind of want to play that now. That seems really silly.
It's actually pretty good. It's because people don't expect it, and it used to be really good against a lot of the common mid picks.
What do you guys think about scaling range with AP?
Scaling
like
range
a
with
really
AP? I
low bout of scaling as you pick up ability power based on the passive.
Laning phase is already difficult for marksmen and everything, so you would have to give them a lower range by default, which is going to immediately invalidate. I mean, Urgot doesn't get played because of his range.
Yep, exactly.
Just a quick thought that I had.
Yeah, and no, I mean, I like where your head's at, but unfortunately, if range is scaling, then they're going to start the base lower because, in theory, by the end game, it's high.
Right. Yeah, that'd be great to have somebody with like an auto attack range of a Xerath Q at the end of the game,
Yeah.
like a Twitch when he pops
nev-
his ultimate.
You'd never get there.
Right. All right, so that is our extra long show for the evening. I hope you guys enjoyed 5 more minutes of Trinity Force podcast. So, fun fact.
Find more content.
I love watching him. You guys are missing so much this YouTube episode because Chira's lagging, and so he'll say something and then go.
I hate it.
It's Godzilla. Look.
Oh,
Say it.
that makes me sad.
Godzilla!
Godzilla.
Oh, you're synced now.
Damn it.
Not worth it.
Yeah, one of the things that I've noticed people wanting is more Trinity Force. Like, I really hate it that they impose this hour time limit. And while I'm still going to impose that time limit, I just want you all know that I love you and I know you want more Trinity Force. That's all I got for you.
that was not what I was expecting.
Closing.
Just letting y'all know it's not going to happen, though I love you all. So, this is ODB, and I love you all. Good night.
ODB. Huh?
Night.
Old dirty bastard, motherfucker.
I know OD, but you're not. All right. Bye.
Peace, guys.
See ya.
Was that the Wukong